Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and man, today, but I guess it'd be yesterday if you're watching this video, we got the mother load of news. Which we've been kind of expecting, and what I've been kind of hinting towards all these, this entire week for what we're waiting on. So quickly, I'm going to go into what this video isn't going to be, which is the Datacron set 14. I will be coming out with a video of what you're going to want, and this does look like a set that you're going to want. I think it fixes a lot of the set 12 monotony, I guess, if you could put it that way. I think this is a very interesting set. It's going to buff quite a few different things that we're looking for. There's a lot of fun mechanics in there too. There's the obvious ones with like the level 9s, right? Everyone's already talking about how much of a menace Rey might be, and there's other ones too, Beck. But there's other things in there too. Like there's gonna be some fun shakeups in there. I think it's going to breathe some new life into what's viable, this upcoming PvP season. So if you're interested in doing well in GAC, you're interested in doing well in TW, Datacrons are the way, right? Sometimes having the right one versus the wrong one is what determines your outcome of your match, right? Or what you're able to do inside your match. So it is what it is, right? So the best thing we can do is try to prepare for it. Try to farm whatever we have to. But yeah, it looks really good. Like I said, I think it's going to change things up quite a bit, which personally I'm happy for. I know for some people they've been living in the efficiency dream, and I don't want to say they're wrong, but they're wrong. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's going to be some really fun things in here. So stay tuned for the video of that. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, so that way you guys can see that whenever I put it out. It'll be closer to Conquest, so that way we know what our goals are going to be come Conquest, right? So that way we can kind of go in and know what is happening. Now, this isn't going to be a kit reveal for Padme Amidala, or Queen Amidala, I should say, but it's going to be a kit review, and at the end of this, I'm going to show the team that I think is going to be what she's going to try and roll with. Now, since it's not going to be a kit reveal, what I am going to do is we're going to talk about her and her kit and what she magnifies, what she seems like she's going to be good at. First impressions though is she's difficult, right? She's hard to gauge. I think that's the hardest part about this. For Conquest characters, we have this certain expectation. Well, now whether that expectation is a guy like Dad Bod Boba Fett, or Trench, or it's a guy like Bane or Cat or Maul, right? Like those, there is some variance in there, right? Not all Conquest characters are created equally. But that being said, I think the big reason why it's difficult to pinpoint, hey, how good of a squad is this going to be, versus does this squad meet our rule of 22, or does it meet our rule of 20, or whatever you want to call it, which is for those that they've never heard that terminology, right? That's how many teams you have to use in GC. That's how many teams you have to use in territory wars and stuff like that at the top levels. So very quickly though, before we get into kind of like how good she is and why it's hard to determine, is because of this, right? When we look at Malgus, it was pretty easy to determine, hey, how good is this guy going to be? Because his team was already here. We just thought about who in the Sith Empire we're going to boot out. Same thing with like Trench, right? Like his kit kind of finalized who exactly was going to be inside of his team, because Separatists was a huge faction, and we were like, well, it makes it pretty clear, right? We can't really have Geos, non-droid, right? Like, so it paved the way to make this really, really clear. Now, in my raid video that I did a few days ago, and thanks to you guys to watch that as well, I said, like, I was pretty sure Padawan Obi Wan was going to be one of our characters that we were going to get, that was going to be put onto the Queen Amidala team. I'm glad to say that we were right on that. I'm, when I was looking at the characters that we had from the Phantom Menace, that was the one that was just absolutely missing, in my opinion. We had Qui Gon Jinn. Where's his apprentice? He's a big part of the movie. Some would even argue he is like the main character of that movie. But yeah, we didn't have him. And so if we're going to have a raid about the battle, it seems fitting that we would get him. Now, where I was completely wrong is that the Qui-Gon Jinn that we have is not going to be sufficient enough. We're going to get Master Qui-Gon. So I thought that this was going to be Captain Panaka. Captain Panaka, in my opinion, he's made a ton of sense. He's always with, Padme. Felt like it was the right, time to get Captain Panaka. But we're getting a Master Qui-Gon. Now, while these guys will have Jedi tags, I'm sure of it, I think that their kit is going to be mostly built around just the Galactic Republic, because quite clearly, right, they're designed to work alongside Queen Amidala, right? So there's probably going to be some sort of, they're going to have like some sort of Jedi guardian or something like that. Not the actual character, but something like that. They were acting as her guardian for most of it. So that's why it's hard to determine how good this team is going to be, because we're missing, at least 2/3 of the team and their interactions. But that being said, I still took an attempt to read through this all. It's quite lengthy. That's why we're not going to go too much into it, and trying to derive a team from it. So the big things I want to highlight, right, is that it's hots and pots, right? Heal over times, protection over times. You gain them all the time. You gain benefits from them at all times, right? So, and then, we do get the decoy, right? So there's a lot of recovery in here for health and protection, but you get 3 stacks of heal over time and protection over time for a basic of Padme's. And again, you get, more of it for her special. That she does have this Omicron here on her special. I will say this too. They've made it very clear what she's not supposed to work with, which is Galactic Legends and Scoundrel, so Cat, right? She's not supposed to fit in here. That being said, we've never been one to listen to some of those recommendations, so don't be surprised if we somehow find out that, even with those limitations, that she's able to accomplish something that we really need inside of our PvP base. So, that's the big thing, is she does have a cooldown increase by 1 on her Omicron, which is pretty nice, pretty effective there, to, reduce your opponent's cooldowns. Again, big chunks of healing and, recovery, which is a big sign that you're going to be fulfilled here with being able to full ban or something in GAC, which is what she looks like she's designed for. And then, the big thing, like I said, is just healing over time and protection over time, which comes down to the loyal bodyguard unique, and the big thing is whenever we have this handmaiden decoy active, right, every time that a heal over time or protection over time expires, Galactic Republic ally is also going to heal 5% protection. So, you're getting some of the cases you're in 3 heal over times, 3 protections over times, right? So it's going to be a lot of heals here. The other thing here is that we're going to gain this stack of Queen's protection. So you get a max of 10. And so what Queen's protection is a 3% max health and protection, 5% max or 5% potency and tenacity, and 5 speed. Now, quickly doing the math here, right? That's going to be 30 max health, 30 max protection, 50% potency and tenacity, and 50 speed. Pretty good in of itself. It reads like a leadership because you're going to be getting these heals over time, protections over time, right away, or as soon as she takes a turn, I should say. And so a lot of added bulk, a lot of added speed even. But then additionally for each stack of Queen protection that Queen Amidala has, all of her Galactic Republic allies are going to gain double of those stacks. So instead of 30, your allies are going to gain 60% max health and protection, 100% potency and tenacity, and 100 speed. So those stat increases are huge. And then, obviously, if you're in Grand Arena, you're going to gain 25% crit damage. You're going to gain 40% mastery, which honestly, the mastery thing, unless you start stacking it or, you're siphoning or whatever, the mastery thing is like a cool little oh, wow, that's so interesting, but it doesn't really end up adding a ton. But yeah, and then there's one more thing that I wanted to look at. So yeah, this one right here. So this is a stack until they end their turn, right? So if they're kind of slow, you're going to be really gaining a lot of this 3% crit damage stacking of the heal overtimes and 3% offense stacking for the protection overtimes. So you're going to also be buffing yourself just through all these buffs, you know, buffing your damage, I should say. And then what's interesting too is whenever an enemy critically hits an ally, they're gonna have this damage reduction and damage, you know, stats up to 50%. So pretty big nerf there. The other thing here with the Omicron, right? Like this is going to play into what is Qui-Gon, Master Qui-Gon, you know, is he attacker? Is he a tank? Is he a support? Same thing with Padawan Obi Wan, right? Like what are these guys' characters? I have a feeling based off of the fact that all the tank GR allies are going to go into stealth, that basically the handmaiden is going to be a tank and everyone else in the team is not going to be a tank. So quickly then, what is our team? What I can kind of guesstimate right now, obviously, okay, so act like this is Jedi Knight Guardian is Queen Amidala, act like Qui-Gon Jinn is Master Qui-Gon, and act like Jedi Master Kenobi is Padawan Obi Wan. Those are our three for sures, right? Like that's this, you know, CG has told us that much. And then I need you guys to act like Luminar Unduli is actually Luminar Unduli, because it's 2024 and somehow we're making her relevant. The big thing why I think that she becomes relevant is through her Omicron, right? And if we go down to her Omicron, there's a lot of HOTS and POTS call out. Now, I will say that POTS is actually kind of a detriment in her kit, but there's a lot of healing over time that's going to be happening. There's a lot of like, you know, triggers, right? One big thing here is that if they do have a heal over time, they have 100% crit avoidance, which will go into another character that I think can potentially fit in here. But, and they're immune to turn meter reduction. Whenever a heal over time from this ability is dispelled, right, they're going to reduce their cooldown by ability of 1. But here's the thing where, like, if they have protection up, which they're going to have here, then these bonuses don't really take hold of some of these some of these things. So this is one where it feels like we're supposed to be using Luminar Unduli, but again, I'm more open to, you know, maybe this isn't it. So pocket your Omicrons for a bit, right? You don't have to go out and relic 7 Luminar Unduli right away, but I could see her being a fit. Now with Padme, the big reason why I think she's a fit is right now is because she can reheal, right, with her middle ability. It seems like this thing is hinging upon the handmaiden decoy, right? You got to kill that thing first before you can go on to the rest of the battle and kill them off second. So how do we kill things? You know, obviously big damage, big AoE damage, all those things. But another one is calls to assist, right? And with them gaining all those, you know, stacks of Queen, I forgot now what they're called, but you know, the Queen Amidala buff, where they're increasing their max health and stuff. These protection up over times, right? Like they're going to be a big part. They're going to be like this almost shield, so to speak, of regaining, right? And then obviously with even her unique, right? We're gonna, anytime that we attack out of turn, right? We're gonna get this protection up over time. Now it's not gonna be the 40% because she's not in the lead, but it's going to be something. And so that's where I think that potentially we could see her. The other one that I was thinking kind of goes with Zaris, right? Beta or Zeta Barris. And the real reason there is because, right, when we critically hit an ally, Galactic Republic, well, just any ally, but in this term, Galactic Republic ally, we're going to heal again, right? And so it could be really annoying as you're trying to work down this handmaiden if they, you know, they got this huge health pool kind of thing, that, you know, we're just re-healing them. And, you know, the Rey is right now the perfect example of why we hate Zeta Barris, but I could see her fitting in here as well. Again, though, with, you know, the Luminar Unduli Omicron, you know, the crit avoidance, you know, we would be making her slower. She's not going to gain her 10% turn meter. So there's a few different things at play. And again, so much of this is going to depend on what does Master Qui-Gon do? What does Padawan Obi Wan do? Because those kits are going to interact, I'm sure, with Padme or Queen Amidala, but they're also going to interact with who's the 4th and 5th in this team. And so there's a lot still left out there, but this is just sort of an initial broad stroke of who has heal over times, protection over times, and stuff like that. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.